This here is a Pro Sim Rig PSR3, a middleweight aluminium profile sim racing cockpit. Middleweights try to give you as much of that high-end sim racing experience possible at lower cost, delivered mostly by being economical on materials while still being based primarily on super solid aluminium profile extrusion. If you're currently using a simple wheel stand or box section rig but the sim racing bug has bitten, this is the sort of thing you might be eyeing up as an upgrade. The middleweight PSR3 costs around £265 less than the heavyweight PSR1. That's 265 quid you can legitimately save if you don't need to do any of the things that call for a full heavyweight rig. So if you're not planning on using a motion system or you don't have any need for crazy pedal and seating layouts, then this is a good option for the vast majority of racers. Let's have a look and see what you're in for if you choose a PSR3. Before we get into it, this cockpit was provided to me for free for review thanks to Race Anywhere, UK stockists of Pro Sim Rig, whose warehouse I collected this from in person. Watch the entire video before making your decision, but links for places to buy the PSR3 are listed in the video description. Hopefully you enjoy this review. In turn, using these links to travel to the retailer does support me at no cost to you, and thank you for doing so. Questions and comments are also totally welcome. Of the 4 profile rigs I've now built to date, the PSR3 just pips the lead as the quickest and easiest, around 3 hours total. Even if you adjust for experience, that's nice and swift. This is explained in part by the use of ball bearing T-nuts, which make life much easier as they roll rather than scrape when you adjust in the position of things, combined with open-faced corner brackets, a combination that's as easy to work with as profile rigs get so far. Manuals are online only as per industry norm nowadays. In terms of sundries like brackets, bolts and parts, they're of excellent quality, but you get the amount you require and not much more, so don't let any of them roll under the sofa, you'll need them. There were exactly the right amount of corner brackets and covers, but I found myself missing one of the plastic profile end pieces. Luckily I have a good few spare from previous rigs, but I am assured by Race Anywhere that they have sent a spare out to me if needed, and I've no reason to doubt it. One of the profile sections had a little bit of damage on it, which had been repaired with black touch-up pen at factory. I only noticed it under direct torchlight, and when I raised it I was assured that this also would be something they'd replace. This personally falls under the threshold for me. The repair's acceptable to me and it's well out of sight, so I waived the replacement, but I have no reason to doubt the offer. The cost for everything you see here, including VAT, is as follows. Obviously prices can vary with time, location, dealer and shipping, but these were the listed costs at the time from Race Anywhere. The central PSR3 kit, that's the rig itself, was £429. For all the optional or variable accessories, it goes as follows. The seat and brackets were 438 quid, the universal holder was 10 quid, the floor mat 52 quid, keyboard and mouse arm 98 quid, cup holder 11 quid, the blue slot cover strip 10 quid, cable clamps 11 quid, and the feet 66 quid, all to the nearest pound or thereabouts. That brings the grand total of all the Pro Sim Rig bits seen here to £1,125 including VAT, or around £938 if you're ordering from abroad and taking off VAT. That screen mount is not Pro Sim Rig, that's a GT Omega display stand, useful for me as it's on casters and can be rolled out of the way for camera shots and such, but if I didn't need that, then an integrated monitor stand for the PSR3 would be the natural choice, costing £150. Seat costs can vary wildly with a profile rig because you have plenty of choice. You can mix and match most brands and models, but if you want to keep things in the family, then this is the Pro Sim Rig Nordschleifer by Cobra Racing. I think you'll agree this is a really handsome bucket seat, which crucially is the only one that currently bears the Pro Sim Rig branding, with these big, beautiful embroidered logos in that lovely crisp blue colour. I love it when a company's branding is this photogenic, it just agrees with my eyeballs, and the tie-in with UK based Cobra Motorsports makes it all the better. This seat self-labels as an XL seat, so if you're a 36-inch waist like me or above, then you'll find it to be ideal. So perfect for most grown blokes of average Joe proportions or above, with no pinch points or uncomfortable divots. However, bear in mind that it's a bucket seat with not too much padding in the bum area. I adopted this fitted cushion from Cobra's Pro Fit range just to make things a lot comfier for longer races for me. It's not really designed for this exact seat, as you can see by the gap it leaves at the front, but it works, and it's also made by Cobra and bears the exact same material as the rest of the seat, so it doesn't look out of place. I'll link this cushion in the description if you think you'll need one too. As for the PSR3 itself, it's an excellent rig overall, which truly does embody the mid-level very well, with great results overall. The full profile pedal system gives it lots of strength and a respectable range of height and tilt adjustment, which has certainly come in handy here, with these Acertech pedals requiring a pretty goofy inverted tilt on this rig due to the aggressive angle. This pedal system follows a tried and true versatile formula that is rock solid and compatible with almost any device, and so should never be a limitation or source of frustration for you. Many other mid-level rigs opt for a steel pedal plate due to cost. The PSR3 goes straight in with a basically unimpeachable profile design. This is basically the favoured design used by all heavyweight rigs that aren't trying to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes light profile rigs can leave you feeling compromised with adjustment options or ergonomics, but the PSR3 in particular doesn't make me feel like that, and that's in large part due to the extra inch or two the pedal tray can move to bring it more in line with the seat. The standard wheel deck is well designed, with a fair bit of forward reach and room to slide the deck forwards and backwards to suit. This is particularly important for positioning your wheel underneath an integrated monitor. Not applicable in my situation, but if you're considering an integrated monitor, then things like this do matter a lot. The deck has pre-drilled holes for all the usual suspects, like Fanatec, Logitech, Thrustmaster, SIMRIG, Moser, etc. Some brands like SIMRIG would require their own mounting brackets in this situation. I've got an Acertech La Prima mounted here using their own bracket hardware. You shouldn't run into difficulties mounting anything currently in existence here, just make sure all the screws are nipped up tight, as a loose screw in a multi-part wheel deck design like this is a nuisance. This style of wheel deck is great for comfort and ergonomics, as there's nothing getting in the way of your legs and knees, so you should have plenty of leg leeway to climb in and out and position your wheel as low as you want it. The included side mount is very much like others you'll see, except for one thing. I think you'll spot it. You don't get a shifter plate with the PSR3 at all. It's probably the only thing missing from the PSR3 and PSR1 for that matter. At this price range, a simple laser cut steel plate wouldn't have been too costly to provide, but without it, you'll need to buy a bracket from elsewhere if you wanted to use, let's say, a Fanatec Clubsport shifter. If you have a device which is designed to bolt straight to profile, which many things now are, then you'll be fine and this won't matter to you at all. Maybe this will change and a simple plate is added to the kit in future, but as of right now, there isn't. A SIMRIG is made more user-friendly with a keyboard and mouse mount. I know this after resisting having one for years, but now they have a home. I've combined my keyboard arm and mouse shell together. It's not shown like this in the manual, so you can have this serving suggestion for free. A nice little Pro Sim Rig branded mouse mat ties it all together. This universal holder is actually where my camera sits when streaming, with room left over to hang my headphones. To the rear is the most important accessory, a drinks holder, perfectly moulded to accommodate the standard issue tea mugs given to all British babies at birth and carried with them for life. Here's mine. I've been using a PSR3 with a 12Nm basis from Fanatec and Acertech, and I find no cause for concern or complaint with strength and rigidity. Very few will ever really require something stronger than this in practice. The PSR3's biggest plus points are the pedal deck, the high quality finish on the profiles, and the eased building process thanks to the use of ball bearing T-nuts. My only notable criticisms are the lack of any included shifter plate and the way they kinda cut it quite fine with the amount of brackets and sundries included for assembly. Those are the ways in which the PSR3 goes above and beyond or falls short. Everything else is in line with expectation and without fault or query. It's simple, strong and handsome. Profile rigs are so similar these days that ultimately it can sometimes just come down to which one catches your eye first, if the budget is agreeable, and if you like the branding of a company that puts it together. If you like red logos, you've got the likes of GT Omega and Track Racer. If you like blue logos, you've got the likes of SimLab and Pro Sim Rig. It sounds silly, but a lot of us are just magpies. We like the look of one thing over something else, for reasons hard to quantify. I think it's pretty important for cockpit manufacturers to stamp a little bit of personality onto their products because they can otherwise be pretty plain. Some manufacturers try to do this by doing something quirky or unusual with their designs, reinventing the wheel somewhat, and in the process risking introducing weirdness. Pro Sim Rig opts for the path of just having a nice brand that goes on stuff. I love the seat embroidery, I like the seat bracket stickers and the mouse mat, and with the blue slot cover being a tenner for a 5-meter roll, you can give your rig a go faster stripe and add your own little dash of colour. The floor mat carrying that large, vibrant Pro Sim Rig logo is like a big welcome mat to your next race. I like a cockpit that leaves no confusion as to who made it. It's all about walking up to your sim rig and thinking, that looks so good, like it's made for me, and I want to get in and go driving. I hope you'll agree that this is definitely achieved here. If you choose a PSR3, you're very unlikely to find yourself upgrading for any reason other than cementing and solidifying your sim racing obsession and upgrading for the sake of upgrading, which is probably the only reason that no product can defend against, and we're all guilty of it. As a middleweight rig to accompany you through the broad centre ground between sim racing newcomer and obsessed dragon sitting on top of a hoard of top of the line treasure, it's a solid choice that should serve you well. And that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this overview and tour of the PSR3. If you do decide this is the one for you, using the links in the description to travel to the retailers helps support me and is very much appreciated. So too does leaving a like on the video and subscribing. Pop a comment below if you have one of these or have any questions or feedback you might have. And cheers again.